Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning in to Jobe's on Town. Yeah, I've been out here grinding, cutting, drilling for a couple hours now. So I got these are my fine seeing specs so I can really see what I'm doing. I kind of started to, no, not kind of, I got most of the rear end done. And I realized, like, wait, Ben, we know how to do this. You got to figure out the front first. The rear just follows the front. The front it's what really matters. So, yeah, we should get that right. And I went ahead and got this nice piece of thick wall, nice strong steel tubing for the front axle. I'm not sure if I'm going to want to pitch it yet to where I'm going to want to drop it, because I think I can do all that with the suspension and not really have to bend the axle. So that's really what I want to find out. I ordered, it's a different axle that I'm going to take the spindles off of. So I got some spindles coming, and I got all the rest of the goodies, I think, to put everything together. So I really want to get this figured out so we can get this thing rolling. I can't wait to get some front wheels on it. So I said before, I kind of was thinking about maybe doing something with a leaf spring. And yeah, that's what we're going to have. This is our front leaf spring now. Let me just go ahead and assemble this one here for you guys. This piece goes on here first with the bolt. That goes there. And this piece is actually where it attaches, that has the nut welded to it. So that will go there. Like that. Basically. And then this will stick out from the frame, and the front axle is going to get welded on right here. I think it's going to be cool. This will essentially be the bottom part of our hairpin. I was thinking about using hairpins, but then I remembered you got to have a panhard bar with hairpins, and where the panhard bar should be, I'm going to put a steering rack there. So I'm going to have a rack and pinion the rack and pinion is going to be about right here, and the panhard bar would also be about right there. So I don't really want to use a panhard bar, and I don't want it sticking up looking funny. So I want everything nice and gangsta low. I think it's going to work because I got one side already mocked up. And since the panhard bar needs to move, I need one on the rear too, because with the trailing arms, they need something to keep it centered. And I have this, I think it's a sway bar end link that has pivots on both ends. That's going to get mounted about right there, so it'll attach onto the frame on this side, up here, attach to the axle down here, and then locate the axle so it can't move side to side. That's what the panhard bar does. It's getting one back here because it's going to be good. I've been working to get this other side finished up. And I got my spring cut. I have my spacers cut. The spacers go on there. And then the tube sandwiches down. This slides into the tube. And then the bolts will come down from the top and the bottom and sandwich that in the tube and hold this to where it's never going to move, because I'm going to clamp it down real good. So what I need to finish doing right now is drill the holes over there, because I got everything drilled on these. Yeah, this was a bit of a challenge. Check this out. Trying to drill these holes was not the easiest thing. I had to go slow and work my way through the steel. It was not very easy. And yeah, so, and then the second shot, once I opened the holes up, had to grind them in, essentially, because the drill bit would not drill through the spring steel. And I'll show you guys the nitty gritty here. This is a burr bit. It's a very high quality burr bit. that was able to cut through there. That's awesome. And this is a step bit. If you guys can see, it has a step. There's two different sizes. It starts small and then gets bigger. That's a drill bit from Boeing. This is a mill bit from Boeing. My buddy used to work there. When they use stuff and it gets out of spec, it no longer gets to build airplanes. It gets to come to my shop. Yeah, we're good. So let me just show you guys down here the details, because I know I kind of want to just get all this done and finish this up and then put the vid out. But I think a lot of you guys really like seeing the details. Which is kind of cool. A lot of YouTube stuff is just jammed together and kind of half-ass it and get it out and do a burnout and be done and never see it again. That's not how I do things. I do things for real. I like to be able to go do burnouts several times and then maybe go to the drag strip. So yeah, still need to get it straightened up. Oh, and also I got the frame. Hi everybody sitting back here, looking good. Go ahead and set this down. I got the frame leveled up. If you notice, I put the rear end back on the lift, so it's sitting. Those are the original shock bolts from when those shock bolts stuck forward originally. So you can see that I rotated it down. Those are going to get cut off eventually. But they're holding up the rear end perfectly level right now, so that's good. And I went ahead and put extra boards under the back so that the frame would sit level. See, I got a little more room up here now. So that's looking awesome now. So everything's sitting level, everything's all in spec. And I done measured it. Show you guys back here. We have 22 inches to the top right there. And we have 22 inches to the top right there. Perfect. So I know that everything down here is level and square now. And I measured also my plumb line, so everything on my rear end is all squared up now. Looking good. So I need to get this front axle because I want to be able to measure my wheelbase. I want to be able to measure from that axle to this axle, that axle to this axle, and square it all up. If it's not square, it's wonky riding down the road. So, yeah. And right now I was actually just trimming these, cutting them off of here. Once again, drilling more holes. These are going to be these are going to get welded on here. That are going to come back for, essentially this is going to be the lower part of my radius rod or my hairpin, and then this is going to become the second part. Wherever we end up putting the axle is going to depend on wherever this gets welded on, so that it all will hold in place and be good. Because this is really going to just help locate the axle and keep it from spinning up and down, which will, hold my caster and my camber. So everything will be good, or my camber will be welded in. My caster will be dialed in, with this setup here. So, yeah. So we just need to figure out, need to get that tacked on there, squared on both sides. And what I need to do is just go ahead and knock those holes in there. And we're going to be good and be able to get that tacked together and possibly get the partial hairpins in place. But I just want to see the leaf springs tacked on there and fully assembled. Yes, it's going to be good. There we go. Still just a little bit too tight right here. You need to grind off just a little bit of that one. And this one doesn't fit at all, so. Yeah, this one's just a little bit taller. Need to grind off both these just a little bit. And we're gonna be good. And it all can slide together. Okay, now that I got everything all hot, I'll go ahead and put my gloves back on. And let's see if this fits a little better now. Make sure all my stuff in here is cleaned out, so we're not sitting on anything. Oh yeah, much better. Still tight, but I can slide it in now. See if I can get it lined up here. Oh, there we go. Okay. That's real close on the back one. See if I can get the bolt in. See if I can move my wood here just a little bit. There we go. Okay, that one definitely lines up. I think I'm going to line up the back one. I can see that it's off just a little bit. I'm going to try and run the drill down it and see if it'll line it all up. Success! Alright, yeah, I can see through it perfect now. Alright, let's see if this one will go back there. Go ahead and put a washer on it. Alright, that's looking good. Excuse me, my arm's blocking everything there. Okay, let's see if this one's going to slide in now. Oh, perfect. Absolutely perfect. Like it was meant to be. All right. And of course, just got some mismatched bolts for right now, but they'll be good once we tighten everything up and sandwich them down. It's just what I had in my stockade over there. And let's see here now. If we rotate these straight up, I was hoping I could just sit the axle right here. Tighten this one up. There we go. That is looking real good. Real good. Okay, guys. I think we have us a front axle located now. Step over the lift there. Oh, yeah. And if we put this kind of like that, or possibly, that's really what I wanted to see. I've been thinking about the hairpin design for a minute ever since I realized I wanted to put the leaf spring on the bottom. Let me go show you guys kind of what I've been working through. It's not been the easiest. My computer skills are not the best, and my brain works slow. Oh, but yeah. Okie dokie. And really what I'm just waiting to get that rear suspension tied in until I can figure out how high this front end is going to be. Oh, see, okay. We just need to figure out how that hairpin's going to lay out. Okay. Let's go see. And then let's just go check one thing real quick. Got my tape measure back out, which you'll rarely see in this shop. Okay, so we got 11 inches is our ride height currently on the rear. And I kind of want it to be the same right now. I'm kind of looking for about the same. Okay, yeah, we're definitely higher in the front. Okay, cool. So I can pivot those down and we will be much lower. Because right now we are at 14.5. Okay, yeah, so we can pivot those down. Those can definitely pivot down and drop the front axle. And we'll still be good. Okay, guys. So, where all of this really started, I've been a huge fan of going fast for a very long time. I think since the beginning of Ben, since Ben number 1, day 1, my dad used to race cars and bikes. He had several bikes, several race cars. That's a whole other video of stories. Oh, geez, there's so many. The 327 Chevelle was my favorite. I loved that car. But he must have gone faster than me the first day, and I got used to it, and that was the end. I was hooked. He had a Jaguar XKE V12, too. 6 carburetors on it. 6-speed. It would scare... It scared everybody, I think. Even him, too. It was no joke. I think it was a 69 XKE 2+2 V12. Had 2 tiny little back seats. It was cool. Okay, so I love me some hot rodding. Don Garlitz has been about my biggest inspiration since day 1. Yeah, that's Don's first hot rod. And then many other helped spawn Don's rides. The Bug was one of the first too. That's just a Ford frame engine with a seat on it and a gas tank and some brakes. And that's really about it. And then there was a couple others that kind of stepped things up. And that's when people really realized going fast is a lot of fun. And that's when it all started, guys. That's before we had drag strips. That's before anything was really a drag race part. It was just a part for a car that guys used on their cars, and that's how they went fast. It's how I've gone fast for years. It's good that way. You don't have to use the prescribed recipe of what somebody else has exactly done. You can do your own stuff. It's okay. I mean, I've been doing it for a minute now. And yeah, that's Don right there. Oh, I need to go visit Don. Don's awesome. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so I decided to go ahead and redo a whole nother rendering because figuring out this front end, I was kind of figuring out, this much was good. Frame layout was good. Then we went here and I'm figuring out, my hairpins and my front leaf springs and my mounting arrangement. And then I figured out, if we're going to go like that, it's got to be in there somehow. So this bottom part is my spring. Let me just go ahead and I get a screwdriver here. Bottom part is my spring. This is my hairpin. This is my front axle. That is my frame. That's the way I had it laid out right now. That was the way I was kind of thinking it had to go together for the front axle to be at the correct ride height. And then I redrew it and I made it to where my spring comes down. And then that just looked better because my radius rod, just goes almost level with the frame. The frame is right there behind it. Then I drew this one with the radiator, with the blower scoop, with the hood, spring going up, drop down, hairpin lower, radius rod coming back to the frame. And I was thinking about doing this with one piece, but then I remembered it's got to be in two different pieces because these need to come straight out, and I kind of want these to come out of a little bit of an angle, to kind of triangulate the whole scenario so it's stronger. Triangles are strong, squares aren't. Squares fold up, triangles don't. So I just think that one has the best look too. The layout and look is perfect. So when it goes up and down, at full droop, the radius rod will just be straight. Okay, so we got our mounts drop down now, so they're facing down. And I just need something to hold this axle up so we can check it out. And I think I have all my wood is used over here. And I don't have any more. I think I have one more piece of wood right here. This one may be too thick because I use this to hold bikes up. But let's see here. Yeah, looks like that's going to be too thick, probably. Okay, redo. Okay, now we're good. We got a smaller piece of plywood and a 2x4 and a couple shims, and we're sitting in there square now. And it's going to be, I kind of like this because I can just tack it on. It's going to be way easier than it flipped upside down. Yeah, and now we can measure our wheelbase and get all that figured out once I get that tacked on. And let's just check this out. Since that's on the top, if our hairpin comes off the bottom now, I'm just checking out the look. Yeah, I think that is going to look the best coming off the bottom. Coming back, I'll have a pivot back here so it can, so it can pivot up and down. And then it'll get a hard mount up here so it locates the axle. And that's going to be good. Yes. And for the pivots on the back, it's DOM tubing. Slides on there real nice. Fits perfect. Fits 100% perfect. Like, if I get it, you can't even see the seam. Yeah, it's really, really fine tubing. So this is the piece that's going to get welded onto here, the bigger piece. And then the pivot will get welded to the frame. This can slide around on here, and then it'll get capped off on the end so that it won't slide off. It'll be able to pivot, but won't be able to move around. So that's good. And what this is, what that is, you can kind of see here on this piece. You can kind of see here on this piece. This piece is one I've just got. It's one that I'm still trying to fit. It fits on there super tight, and it's, there we go. Fits on there super tight. And if you guys can see here, there we go. Fits on there super tight. I love pieces like this that fit together because it helps mount and locate stuff it's a wonderful addition to when you're trying to build stuff. And what I'm going to use this stuff for, especially these up here, that's going to be, I want it to be nice and strong, so I don't want that to ever bend or move. And what it is, yeah, if you look at it kind of like that, you know, I've already cut off a bunch. There's another set that I've cut some off of. It's old handlebar tubing. I've worked on enough bikes that bikes get tipped over and crashed and the handlebars get bent, and there's still lots of very nice tubing that can be used for something else. Most people wouldn't use it, but I do, and I have a feeling some of you guys might too, so go check out your local bike shop and see if they got a pile of bent handlebars. I always did. Sorry if the sun's blowing out the camera there, but there was always handlebars laying around that needed to be used, and there was always bent handlebars. So I've always had a pile of them, and pretty much everything down here is just parts from other stuff. I've got parts all over this shop that are from other builds. I mean, that whole tub is just other build parts. That whole box is wiring parts. So yeah, I'm loving this. And as soon as these spindles get here, I'll be able to figure out. I can't wait to get this thing rolling, guys. I can't wait to see it on the wheels. Then we can figure out, you know, how it's going to look. And yeah, so we're very close. Much closer than we were yesterday. So like, share, subscribe. Way more to come as usual. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks a whole lot. Tell everybody to click on this video and get them a watch, because I have a feeling if we get a little more views and I get a little more money flowing into my bank account, I'm going to make this thing a whole lot nicer, and it may even get a bigger turbo engine on the front. That one's coming out and needs to maybe, but we'll see. For right now, though, it's getting a 5-horse that is the same 5 horse as that one. So yeah, that one runs awesome, and this one's going to run equally as good. And we're going to get this front end figured out once we get some spindles and some goodies on there, and then I'll just have a bunch of welding to do once I get this chains in place, and we're going to be out going for a ride. Yes. When in doubt, figure it out. The truth will set you free. I say kickstands up. Kickstands up if you're on a bike. Otherwise, mash that pedal and do a donut. Let's ride. Old school hot rods had that rake to them. Big fat tires on the back, little skinnies on the front. Ha ha! Let's ride.